Well, it's a live rate. See, I knew that was going to happen. We'll just record it. No. We can still record it. All right. Good evening. It just will not work for me. We've got a new space. First of all, can I just tell you how incredibly excited I am? Am I on? Can I tell you how excited I am that we have a fantastic new location? We are at 10th and Jefferson. HB Radio Next, always working to bring all community all the time. And guess what? We are smack dab in the middle of the community. Yes, we are 2131 10th Street, East 10th Street, 10th and Jefferson. You literally could drive by and see my mouth running through the window. I mean, this is an amazing experience. This is an amazing space. We are in the heart of District 7. Zach Adamson, we are in the heart of your district. All of this is amazing. I'm really happy. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed my time out in McCordsville, but I was always stressing when I got off work downtown Indianapolis trying to make that trek on 70. And thank goodness there were not any real accidents between Indianapolis and McCordsville the whole time we were there that prevented me. We still have to work on the lighting. I know I look like a shadow right now, but we'll work on that. Don't you worry about that. We'll get that lighting together. But this is our first show in our new space, and I'm just super excited about it. A couple things I want to talk about. Listen, radionext.tv, please go to our website. Go to our website. We have a way for you to sign up and be a sponsor of our show, be a sponsor of our radio station, because what we're trying to do is bring information to listeners. Our goal is to bring you what you need, how you need it, the way you need it, and making sure that you understand everything that's going on. Bottom line, when you live in Indiana, there's too much work that needs to be done, and I'm really wanting to make sure that we bring that work to you. So, go on our website. Figure out how you can make things happen for us. You know, I knew I was going to mess up. I always mess up.
Would nobody known if you wouldn't have said anything? Nobody knew anything.
It's, you know what, when I get excited, multitasking becomes difficult.
I just want them to hear your beautiful voice and all this commentary. So I'm trying to turn this music
Hey,
off.
if you guys don't know, that's
now that they know. Let me see this real quick.
All right, take that. So wait, hold on just a minute. We got to get the radio portion because I obviously did not get that right. So all my Facebook viewers, we're gonna try this again.
Yeah, we're good. I just don't want that music interrupting you.
Okay, excellent. Did they hear the intro?
Oh, they heard it. It was sounding good. It was sounding good for the intro with the music in the back.
Yeah.
But now you and the guest.
Okay. And see, that's
made it out.
So I'm loving this space, but it's a wonderful thing. So now, listen, go to our website, become a sponsor. If you like what we are, the website is radionext.tv. You can go on there, become a sponsor of our show. We'll set up, some conversations about how you can contribute to what we do because it's all community all the time. I love it. I hope you guys love it too. Also, HB is having his 7th anniversary. He's been doing this thing for 7 years, and he's got an itch, y'all. I need y'all to find out about the Jumbo Love 7th Anniversary Radio Next. Please contact Tracy Drain. You can either find her on Facebook or you can find her on one of our pages. Tracy Drain. Inbox her for details on the 7th anniversary. I love it. I'm seeing people walk across the street and they're watching. This is amazing. So outside of me, I need to calm down because I'm really excited about the space. And of course, as you see, when you sit next to handsome people, you just get even that much more excited. I'm going to get to him in just a second. Don't let the dimples fool you now. Don't let the dimples get to you because they get to me. A couple things I want to talk about that I read about in the Associated Press today. Democrats seem to be like trying to stir the pot a little bit. Democrats in the House in Washington or in the Senate are trying to start some troubles. I love it when they start troubles because when they start troubles, when they come to fight, we win. Come on. So Chuck Schumer and his boys have said, listen, teachers across the board need a raise. Now, we already know what's been going on in Oklahoma. We know what happened in West Virginia. We know what happened in Kentucky. We know what's happened in Colorado. Teachers are like, yo, what about us? Why are teachers who are charged with educating our youth and preparing our future, come on, have to work multiple jobs? just to feed their families. They obviously they went into teaching because they have a love and for educating people and molding young minds. They need a raise across the board, but it's not just the teachers that need a raise. The buildings need more money. The textbooks need more money. The technology needs more money. There are a lot of things that we need to do. So Chuck Schumer, with his little sly self, he says, we could actually give every teacher across the board a raise if we simply stop giving tax cuts to the 1%. The tax cuts to the richest Americans will cover this raise. So listen, you guys need to be calling your congressmen, calling your senators, and finding out about this bill, this proposal that they've introduced on Tuesday to raise teacher salaries. You talk about you in it for the teachers. You talk about you there for schools. You talk about you want to take care of public education. Here's an opportunity to do that. Find out about this bill. Find out about this proposal, because you leave it up to Betsy DeVos. Everybody will be paying exorbitant tuition because they won't have any vouchers available to them. Yeah. Come on, everybody will.
Well, they just said that the banks had their highest profits, highest quarterly profits ever.
Harlan can't wait. Let me just go ahead and introduce you to Harlan. Harlan Vondersaar is my guest today. He is running, tell me the district.
28.
28. He is running in the 28th district. And where does that geographically sit?
It is majority Hendricks County, small portion of Boone County.
All right. Yep. So he's giving you a bit of information, people. Banks are doing really, really well for themselves. How are you doing with your stagnant wages? I just want to know. I just want to know. And teachers, you need somebody looking out for you, and I'm trying to get folks fired up. So listen, find out about this bill, because if you leave it up to the Trump administration and Betsy DeVos, no child will get the education they deserve unless their parents make crazy fat loot. Now, I don't know about you, but public education was never supposed to be dependent upon how much money your parents make. Nope. So get involved with that one. Find out about that one. That one was kind of interesting. And to tie into that, state officials have a new plan aimed at providing and improving high-speed internet in our rural Indiana. You guys, I've been talking about the lack of high-speed internet in rural Indiana for a long time. I know some people think that all I do is talk about black people issues. No, I don't just talk about black people issues. I talk about people issues. And there's a people issue with infrastructure when it comes to rural communities and their ability to have high-speed internet. How are students who are in school supposed to be able to compete and get all the information they need when they don't have the technology infrastructure in place? So the effort was announced on Wednesday by the Indiana Office of Community and Rural Affairs. It's a part of the broader document called the Strategic Plan for Rural Indiana. I think this is a good thing, but you know what? You gotta watch people. You gotta watch them. They'll announce something and nothing will happen. So I'm calling on all of us, especially in my rural communities or people who live on the outskirts of smaller towns. Pay attention. Find out if Lieutenant Governor Suzanne Crouch is really about improving broadband and high-speed access to our rural communities. Don't let them tell you they about it. Make them be about it. You know how I am. I don't talk about it. I be about it. I'm there. Before I go, this weekend I had a great opportunity to go to where was I? I was in Michigan City.
Yeah, I saw it on your Facebook.
Yeah, I was Michigan City League of Women Voters. Thank you so much for having me come up. League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan organization, and so they talk to Republicans and Democrats, and we were able to share our story about why women need to run. They still have some slots up there that they need to fill. Ladies, if you're in it to improve the lives of humans, please, 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 please consider running for office. And if you're not a front man, want to be out front, consider helping on a campaign. Consider being a volunteer coordinator, or make some phone calls or knock on some doors, because we have a lot of work to do. There should be no Democrat seat that goes unfilled. So if you are in the 2nd District area, LaPorte County, Porter County, Lake County, and you still are interested in running for office, there's still some slots available. Please reach out to the county chair so that you can find out about those seats and how you can get involved. Hey, 92 county strategy, baby. I've been saying it and screaming it and preaching it, because we got to flip some seats in our state house. Mm-hmm. Bottom line, flip some seats. And we got women, man, I almost should have been on the ballot. I might want something just because I'm a girl this year. I should have got on the ballot. Didn't, But I'm helping everybody else. Hey, all right, enough about what's going on. I want to introduce and give us an opportunity to talk to and get to know this fantastic young man that I have sitting next to me. First of all, first time I met him, he was at a training session. I meet people at training sessions. That's a beautiful thing. That means he was there to learn and get better. And I looked at him and I said, oh my God, he's a Democrat. He's going to be fabulous. Hadn't said a word. Look, when your energy and your spirit precedes your words coming out of your mouth, you know you got a good candidate. And that's what I want to say. So Harlan, welcome to Turn Left.
Thank you so
for
much.
coming on in from. See, he already has.
I'm excited.
He already has like radio, TV. You know.
Yeah, some background in college, but did some radio on a AM station in IU.
Okay.
Like I said, I think it was my mom and a few people listening, but we tried.
Okay.
And did some production stuff at IU as well, behind the scenes. And my first job was actually production assistant for WLFI in West Lafayette.
Okay, excellent, excellent. So, tell the people who you are, where you come from, what you've been doing with your life.
Oh man. Well, I am born and raised in Heners County, Avon, Indiana.
Okay.
I graduated high school in 2001, so I'm still I make the young Democrats by 1 year. I'm pretty excited about that. I keep asking Derek if I was okay to.
I mean, I'm sitting over here. You graduated high school in 2001.
Yeah.
All right, don't act up because I can turn you over my knee.
That's fair.
Because I am old enough.
That's fair. I was excited because I still qualify for all the Young Democrat stuff, so
yeah,
I had to follow that up. But I grew up in an amazing area. Avon was fairly growing at that time when I was growing up. I think now the school's I think it was 1,000 students per class, and it was about 200, 300.
Wow, that's pretty good for an Avon school. I mean, because my graduating class was like 840 something, and we have 4,000 students at North Central. I'm giving a shout out.
Yeah. I was the second class to graduate from the new high school in Avon.
Okay.
And they just had that referendum in Avon that passed, talking about teachers, which is great because they were losing teachers left and right, and their class sizes were just ridiculously large. So it was good to see the referendum pass because I know they had tried before and it didn't pass. And
I'm very grateful that the referendum passed as well. But I'm sad that we have to do referendums.
That's ridiculous.
I'm really not happy at the session where they took over the school systems. And here's the state of Indiana who obviously has budgetary problems of their own in managing school funding, but they're going to take over another school system.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the logic flips some seats. The logic.
So, like I said, I had a wonderful childhood. My dad, I think he might be streaming. He's a truck driver. He's on the road right now. Okay. So, then my mom, I saw she's watching. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
And so, living in Avon was nice. I was lucky. We had good schools. It was a safe community. I couldn't ask for a better childhood, and it really, I think, impacted the way I look at how lucky I was to where I grew up, and to really kind of see the real inequality that happens. So that's part of the reason I'm running is to really kind of get everybody on that level playing field.
And that's
I had.
Key. That's key.
I did have some health issues growing up.
Okay.
So I was in and out of the hospital with asthma and falling down. I hit my head, different things like that. But kind of just seeing that, just being able to.
Now see, somebody gonna say you hit your head, and now you're running for politics.
I know. Just kind of seeing, having a family, being able to afford to take care of a sick kid, and a mom that could take off work if she needed to take care of a kid that was kind of a pain in the butt sometimes, but
you were her kid.
I was her kid.
And a mother's love is unmatched, baby.
Yeah,
she will walk through fiery coals with spikes coming out of it to take care of her baby.
She's done about that a few times, I'm sure. So
so don't even that's not me and my brother, when we went to school, I think we missed maybe 2 or 3 days a year for like 12 years because my mama was like, you're not going to be sick. I didn't start getting sick until I became an adult.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I always played the fake, I don't feel good today, Mom.
Man. I had a southern mama.
Yeah.
I had a southern mama who was born in 29. And, she's of the greatest generation. So you're not faking out. Go to work. That's your only job is to go to school. That's all you gotta do.
That's awesome. So after high school, I went to IU.
Okay.
And had Hoosiers. Yeah, I had an amazing, probably two amazing at point times. Time at IU. Met some really good friends.
What'd you major in?
Telecommunications.
Okay, telecommunications.
So when I was at IU, I worked when I took with classes. I was a waiter for 4.5 years, so I understand what it means to earn your money. A lot of jobs, jobs I have now I work harder waiting tables than I ever did, in an office job.
Absolutely.
And 100%.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. So IU was a great experience. I still have a lot of close friends. That we all work together and you build that bond. I don't know if you've ever waited tables or worked in a restaurant.
I knew better. I'm clumsy.
There's something about working in a restaurant with people.
I worked at a fast food restaurant. Okay. I worked at Burger King and McDonald's, but to wait tables, I'm too clumsy. Nobody would ever get their food. I
got called a few things every once in a while, but you kind of just brush it off and kind of.
Yeah, nobody would ever get their food. They would fire me like, "You have wasted 14 meals today. I'm gonna need you to leave."
Oh well, see the good thing about wasted meals, everyone.
Oh my.
The good thing about wasted meals is you can eat it in the back. So every once in a while you got to put it in wrong.
So you have a free meal.
Yeah, in college you
try
to find or somebody would order their to-go food and not pick it up.
Well, especially since some states are trying to pass laws to take people's tips. I mean, that they get your tip one way or another, baby.
I'm
not advocating stealing. I'm not advocating theft of any type.
Well, waiters and waitresses make $2-3 an hour. I mean, that's their base salary or their base. They don't make your minimum wage, and I don't know if some people know that when they're out waiting at restaurants and things like that. Okay. You live on your tips. I mean,
absolutely.
You might get a check for 75 cents, 85 cents, because all that taxes are taken out of that tip, of that $2 or $3.
Which I never could understand how tipped person's wages did not have to follow federal minimum wages. I never understood that.
I don't either. It's just one way to
stick it to
the people that, because the people that are waiting tables are usually younger or struggling and they don't have the backing like the other people do.
We need to get a table waiting lobby.
You know what? I was actually, if you listen to Pod Save America or John Lovett's show on there.
Okay.
Love It or Leave It. Thank you. He actually had a woman that she's kind of a lobbyist for the restaurant workers.
Nice.
And that was one of her big deals this time was the tip issue that the Trump administration was trying to change. You can tell they never worked a
day in the life.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not done anything. He still ain't working. That's the killer part. He got a job and he still don't work. He got a job where he lives, almost like the the storage facility places where you live at the storage site. So there's always he's just there watching it until real people come and run our government again.
Yeah, it can only come too soon.
Oh my goodness. Well, we're going to flip some seats in Congress this year.
I'm excited.
We finished that. Okay, so you just graduated high school 15 minutes ago.
Yeah. It feels like it's been almost 13, 15, 16, 17 years. My 20-year reunion's coming up, so.
Well, yeah, I guess that, it's not, So you graduated college. Now what were you doing?
I was working at WLFI in West Lafayette.
Okay.
Whoa.
Right.
I know. I go from IU to Purdue. It's kind of I was in
a mind divided. I'm surprised you.
West Lafayette. I will say West Lafayette is a very pretty town. It's got very nice golf courses, so I'll give them that. But really? IU is near and dear.
Flemington is something. I got you.
Near and dear to my heart. So
Tempe is one of my favorite counties.
Yeah,
I like all 92 counties.
Exactly. So I was working the Wednesday to Sunday shift, 3 to midnight. Ooh. So nothing better for a 22-year-old man making $8 an hour. You had
enough money to go get a cocktail afterwards.
Barely, yeah.
And then you didn't have to get up super early in the morning. Yep.
So that was an interesting
Not that
experience.
I know anything about it.
That's all right. Had the opportunity after that. A couple guys I worked with moved down to Florida, so I went down there because there was a TV station hiring. And you're 22, 23. You're like, wow, let's live in Florida for a while. And Fort Myers, right on kind of by the water. So I was just like, I'll do it. Why not? So I went down there, worked for a little bit, and if you know me very well, I get very, very bored if I'm not doing something I'm passionate about.
Yes, mental stimulation.
Yeah, exactly. So I wasn't really happy with my job prospects down there, and I kind of started looking about going back to school and kind of looking to do something that I felt like I could make a difference in people's lives. Because what I was doing, I didn't feel that, and that's something that I'm passionate about. And I was the first in my family to go to college. My sister was going to go, but she went to beauty school. Okay. And good for her. She has a successful salon.
Right. I mean, do what you love doing.
She's a rock star.
Some folks need to get their hair done.
Oh, man. I tell you what. People spend some money on their hair, too.
But some folks need to go get their hair did.
EM Studio Salon. There you go. So she decided to do that. And, so being the first in my family to go to school, I always thought law school was kind of like medical school. It's like you had to go pre-law and then you could go to law school. Well, when I finally kind of started researching about going back to school, I started looking into law school, and when I learned that you could literally be any major you wanted to be.
Absolutely.
So I decided, took the LSAT about a month after I decided to go to law school. Did good enough to get in to a couple schools here back in the Midwest. So came back home, and in 2007 I started law school at Ohio Northern University.
Okay.
Small little school in Northwest Ohio.
Okay.
Great little town. Maybe 2 stoplights.
Gotcha.
And we got a McDonald's my third year, so that
was my God.
That was my big. We had Taco Bell, Subway, and then we got McDonald's.
Oh my goodness, like, wow, y'all was eating high and
absolutely.
Before you go further, I wanted just to touch on our listeners. You were absolutely right. You can major in anything that you want, and go to law school. And just to speak on it, my sister, who is now in Philadelphia, I wish you'd come back to Indiana, but I understand why you're in Philadelphia. She, if I'm not mistaken, when she went to Bethune-Cookman, she majored in hospitality management.
Yeah.
And now she went to law school at IU, and she is now a judge.
Is she really?
In Philadelphia.
Good for
because
her.
She's got a dream of being in the Supreme Court.
Oh, that would be
so
awesome.
Yes, I think those are little tidbits.
No, yeah, I mean, especially if you're not raised around an attorney or
right,
a doctor
or know how the system
somebody,
works.
And I recommend law school to anybody. I know the financial cost is kind of high, but the analytical skills you learn and the learning and just getting out of your comfort zone a little bit, they get you up in front of people talking, you have to make arguments.
Because that would be, I would not be comfortable doing that.
Yeah, I know, right? We're all
talking.
I know.
Oh my God.
Sit
I'm
behind
so
a desk.
shy.
We all are. I love law school.
Okay.
Constitutional law, especially now doing the political side of it. It has such an effect on every aspect of your life.
Absolutely.
Everything you do has constitutional law, and especially just recently, the new case that come down against workers again, where they aren't allowing the class actions for workers. And if they're making workers, if you sign a arbitration agreement, you're not allowed to do a class action now, which was a big tool for workers that had wage disputes or discrimination disputes, because when you have 5 or 6 people together making an argument, it's a lot more powerful than that one individual person, and then you can put your forces behind it.
And just let's stay there for just a second. Well, let's talk about laws and labor for just a minute, because what I think people don't always understand, when we are not at the table helping to create policy and the legislation that becomes law, and the folks who have the influence through financial donations and things like that, of course they're going to have people write laws that protect and benefit them, right? And so this is a prime example of why if you are in a labor situation and you want to fight for your rights, you're already against the machine as it is, because these guys have got, at least 200 congressmen on their side and 25 to 30 senators on their side fighting against you to make it to help increase that wealth gap. I mean, and what I'm finding about your story and I'm loving is that you're able to weave in your experiences on a whole lot of issues that matter to us as Democrats.
Yeah, I like to think that we're all a product of our our experiences.
Absolutely, we are. Absolutely.
And they kind of shape us into who we want to be or who we are. So I feel like a lot of the experiences I've had has kind of make me have shaped how I feel in the issues. When you really see it in person, I worked for a public defender for my first summer after my first year of law school. I worked in Southern West Virginia as a public defender. So you want to see what's called West Virginia. It's in McDowell County, and it's one of the poorest counties in West Virginia. So you can only imagine how poor that is.
Right, because West Virginia is one of the poorest states. Yeah,
old coal mining town that industry's gone and everybody's there. So it's really
Trump brought those back, didn't he? Didn't he bring those coal jobs back?
Yeah, and coal's been declining for years.
Even the coal people, like, we're not bringing those jobs back.
I mean, there's spikes. But nothing that's ever going to be...
And we need to stop burning coal. How about that?
Exactly. And now he's allowing the waste being put back in the water, so that's another argument.
Yeah.
But seeing those communities and kind of just seeing what people really go through is a very eye-opening experience. I mean, people are getting their water off the side of the mountain. I mean, we take it for granted where we can just turn a tap and our water comes out. I mean, these people have gallons, old milk cartons, gallons, and just going to the side of the mountain, and that's how they're getting the water because there wasn't, running water.
Was there no running water because it was so? Now, if you've never been to West Virginia, it's almost like if you ever played the parachute game as a kid in the gym, and you guys are all standing there shaking the parachute, and it looks really wavy. That's West Virginia.
It's beautiful. I love the state. I loved living there, just driving around, going to the parks and different things like that. You couldn't ask for a more beautiful area.
It's a little hilly.
It's a little hilly, yeah. I mean, talk about a country mile. I mean, you're going up and down the mountain. Take you
So was
hour.
it because of the...
It's the infrastructure.
Okay.
It's just the way, if you ever heard of the term a holler, it's basically...
I've heard of a holler.
I learned so much when I was there. A holler is basically the in between the sides of the mountain. So there's people that, a lot of... there'd be so-and-so's holler and so-and-so's holler, and that's kind of where families would grow up.
Yes.
A lot of
those, if you were in California, they call those valleys.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So a lot of those areas didn't have running water and things like that to them. And so, it's just a whole different...
It's a whole different world.
It's something that they're used to, so...
And then as working as a public defender, and, seeing people who are just struggling to make it from day to day and hearing those stories... did it make you want to stay in
stay in that space?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to get back into... Criminal law was always a passion of mine.
Okay.
Criminal justice reform is a passion of mine. I know it's not the sexy topic to talk about.
It depends on who you're talking to.
Exactly.
You're talking to Indiana's own Dana Black. So, trust me, criminal reform is something that criminal justice reform is big in my community.
If you've been anywhere around the...
one of my communities, I should say.
Anywhere around the criminal justice system, you realize how broken it is. And it really affects...
skewed and flawed.
It's skewed and flawed, and for Black, Hispanic, and poor.
Yes.
It's an endless cycle that a lot of people get stuck in that they can't get out of. And then once they just get in it, it's so hard to stay positive and try to really kind of pull yourself up and get above.
Because that scarlet letter, it's like, it's the word. So, we were talking about, you talk about criminal justice reform and banning the box and giving people an opportunity to pull themselves up. You can't pull people up if they always have that scarlet letter.
Bail bond reform.
Yes.
It's huge.
I know you've seen 13th then.
Oh, yeah. Did you see the Khalif Browder story on Netflix?
Yes.
That was about the saddest thing I've ever seen.
Yes, it is. And how many of those stories do we not know about?
Oh, hundreds.
Oh,
thousands,
my goodness.
If not more.
I mean, and it is so incredibly sickening to think about how we just arbitrarily throw away humans.
Yeah. Especially... in inner cities and areas like that, it's a conveyor belt.
It is. I mean, and to me, I know the 13th in the movie, the documentary basically demonstrated the spike. But once you introduce profit-making mechanisms into our, criminal justice system and what rehabilitation looks like from a criminal. It's no longer about rehabilitation.
No, it's just about
keeping heads in the bed.
Money spray. When you have a contract from a private prison where you get fined for not having enough people in your beds.
What?
Oh yeah. These.
So the contractors find the city, the
the state, whatever, whoever has. I think it's
the government entity.
The government entity. They have a quota on beds that have to be filled.
So if there's a quota on beds, wow, that reminds me of the judge that was sending the teenagers to prison for saying "Stop, Mom."
Yeah.
That is insane because again, you're talking about people's lives, and one of my hashtags these days is people over profits, because it's driving me nuts that people are willing to sacrifice human life. Come on, think about this now. Human life, so somebody can make a buck.
And that's just not just criminal. You see it in corporations too. I was just finishing. I'm on the road a lot, so I listen to audiobooks and podcasts. And I just finished a book about a city in New Jersey that was getting poisoned by one of their the biggest industry in the town. And everybody was so afraid to say, "Hey, let's stop because they don't want to lose their jobs." You shouldn't have to decide a job over your kid's life or your health. Exactly.
Absolutely.
And too often companies know that, so they know that, hey, I can fire you and get the next guy in line. So don't say it.
And so it's like literally that same thing. I kind of pissed off some folks on Facebook today when I posted the NFL's ruling on kneeling and all of that, because don't tell me it's about veterans when black folk came back from World War II, you still was lynching them.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. I mean,
because we care about vets.
or
Vietnam, you were still lynching them. You're still denying people of color. So don't tell me you care about vets if you ain't caring about all the vets. And don't tell me it's about a flag or an anthem when there are people dying in the streets. Don't give me that.
No,
but then now you're saying if you decide to stand up for justice for American citizens, we're going to fine you. We're going to fine you.
And it's
32 white owners.
No, it's infuriating.
Rich white guys. Do you think they understand what it is to be a traumatized black person in America?
No, and I mean I sound silly as a young white man saying that, but I've educated myself on the history of our country.
Because I need allies.
Yeah.
If I don't have, listen, just like, I talk about how women got the right to vote. No woman voted for the ratification of the 19th Amendment because there were no women elected.
Yeah.
We need allies. So I need people who can see and speak a language. They go, oh, well, wait a second. They're not coming from a hostile place because he's a white guy with dimples. I need you to do that. Yeah. The Southern Poverty Law Center, basically.
I love that. I would work for them in the department.
I mean, and then, Christina, I was actually going to get to that today. I wanted to talk about the review board, the merit board. Yeah, the merit board. One of the things that I try to get people to understand is, and why I'm glad that you're running for office, because you had experiences in your life that you're like, I can do more. We have to take the rally, and don't nobody love a speech better than me. You know what I'm saying? Giving them, listening them, cheering at them.
Yeah.
I love a rally, and I love protesting situations. But in order for us to really create the change, if you don't like the way that merit board looks, you need to run for city, county council. Yeah. You need to figure out how you can get on that merit board. Now we have to take that activism that is so, the energy is so high in the streets, and you need to start electing people that speak to your values. You got to start electing people that care about. And then here it sounds to me, now granted, this is that was a municipal Marion County thing, but if you're into justice reform and you're into
it starts county to city to all the way up to the
You feel me? We have to elect people who represent our values.
No, I agree completely. And a lot of the police and everything that's going on there, I think part of it's just education of what people on the outside looking in, like NFL owners, or people that say, well, why are they kneeling? Or they don't. If you really, I think a lot of our history is watered down too.
Yeah,
to what's really happening to people or happened to people.
It's just yellow water anymore. It ain't eliminated no more.
Where in 1950, where a black man would get killed to vote in a primary. I mean, this is happening. This wasn't that long ago.
Absolutely.
So
not at all.
When people don't go vote, and you're just like, you know, if you're the people that were fighting for the right to vote back in, you know, 1930 or 40s and 50s.
There have been people, here's the deal, since the beginning of this country, and voting was a thing, people have been fighting for the right to vote. You know, at first it was just wealthy white landowners, males, who could vote, and people have been fighting for the right to have the government that they said that they wanted to create, of the people, by the people, for the people. You know, people wanted to have a say. So we've been fighting this fight for a long time, and there are some people who feel like, oh my Lord, we're losing a grasp on our country. No, it ain't never been your country. It has been first of all, Native Americans, I know how much that flag and that anthem mean to you.
Yeah.
I know what that flag and that anthem means to you. And how about, you know, the fact that, yes, we're talking about kneeling, and every time I hear somebody say it's about the veterans, do you know how many black veterans were victims of police brutality? So while you talking about veterans, talk about all the veterans. Yeah. And we're talking about, you know, I even had my buddy Sean Shepard. He's a libertarian.
Yeah.
He got on my page and said, well, what about the consumers? Which consumers?
Yeah.
You talking about the white consumers or the consumers of color? Because we don't mind them kneeling.
I don't mind. I mean,
which of your consumers? I'm just saying. No, anyway, I can go all day.
No, I understand.
I can go all day. So I want to switch gears just a little bit because I want to make sure I bring the focus back to.
That's fine. I go off on tangents. That's my fault.
That's what we do with politicians.
My campaign manager's just like, just stay on focus what you're talking about.
Well, let's see for the next 30 minutes.
My brain just goes.
Yeah, we're going to talk about your campaign.
Thank you.
And we're going to talk about the issues that number one that your constituents are talking about, and what the focus of your campaign is. Give me 3 of those good points.
Well, I'll give you a little background on the area I'm in and kind of what we're dealing with. The area I'm in, the incumbent that I'm running against is a 20-year incumbent. He's been in office, since '98. Concrete
shoes.
His father was in before him, and it's just been basically kind of just a mix of that. So I'm looking back.
Like District 88?
Yeah, looking back 10 years, I think he's had 16 he didn't have an opponent, 14 he did, 12 he did. But those 2 and 14 and 12 didn't raise any money, didn't campaign, didn't knock any doors. So
they didn't campaign.
They didn't do anything. They just put their name on the ballot, and that's it. So we're kind of really laying the foundation of
uncharted territory.
It is. So we're kind of trying new things and doing different things, but trying to let people know that there's a choice.
That's it.
We had an event in Danville, a candidate meet and greet, and that was my whole point of my speech was to let people know that, you know, like you're talking about, our democracy is built on the theory of choice. You're supposed to be able to choose who's the best candidate and vote for them. But when you don't have anybody to vote for, when you go to the ballot box and there's all ours and maybe one Democrat on a city county or something, you know, maybe a little higher level, that's not democracy. That's not how it's meant to be. But it's been like that for such a long time.
Absolutely.
That it took, you know, if anything comes out of the Trump administration, it's going to maybe it's just all this young women, minorities, all these people that are really just, you know, I got a little complacent with what was going on. So
I mean, we all got happy. Yeah. Black folks was living in the White House. You know, we was like, look at that, black folk in the White House. This is called the Black House this year. This is called the Black. Yes, we were all complacent. Well, gay people were still having issues, so I was still kind of like, wait a second.
Yeah. So what we're trying to focus is get people to focus on the opportunity to see other people, other people on the ballot. So my three things that I'm really focusing on, and this, you know, I had an idea of what I thought was important. That I was passionate about. But after talking to some community leaders and individuals in the community, one of them is quality of life issues.
Ooh.
And that's a big one.
I just wrote about that, bro.
Yeah, it's my man. There's a lot of jobs in Hendricks County. I think I spoke with the economic development coordinator in Hendricks County, and he said there's 2,000 jobs sitting open, but they only paid $15, $16 an hour. Nobody's going to build. No builders want to build homes in Hendricks County and Boone County for $100,000, $120,000 homes. So trying to balance
and wait a second.
housing.
I'm just going to say this. I think that's noble that you said 100 and 120,000, but usually if you're making $15,000 to $18,000 an hour, you're not affording that. You're affording an $80,000.
Exactly, and so trying to balance that work availability with the community has been a big issue. That and trying to make the community attractive to people come in. Your parks, your trails.
Yeah.
I met
clean air, clean water.
Exactly.
You know, little things in life.
I mean, I met with the Parks Department in Hendricks County.
Okay.
And they looked at me like, we've been here for 10 years. We've never had a single candidate or legislator ever even talk to us. And I'm like, that's not how it should be. That's not way a public servant. You're a public servant. You're not a politician. So quality of life's a big one. Trying to get people that want to live in the community to be able to live there and not have to have 3 mortgages on their house or work 3 jobs or like your teachers and things like that. There's a lot of you're talking about rural communities. There's a lot of smaller towns on the west side of Hendricks County that really don't have much there. There's a school and there's a gas station.
And don't get it wrong. Some people actually enjoy.
In the rural, it's easy.
Please,
it's
I don't want to see you. Go away. No humans.
But I think there is.
They should still be able to have basic infrastructure.
I think there's an opportunity to open those communities up to more population to be able to help people get those type of jobs and be able to kind of grow the community.
Absolutely.
So quality of life is a big one. Really just spending the money on the green space and those things that we talked about.
Because we don't have oceans to swim in.
Or mountains to climb. Mountains or
I say the same. I can say the same thing over and over again. We've got to attract people. We have a brain drain in our state, and I imagine in Hendricks County it's the same thing. Luckily you came back from Florida. Luckily you came back from Ohio.
Yeah.
We lose, our intelligent people because they're like, you know what, I could go make more money over here. And it's conducive to be outside because I have asthma.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, especially growing up with asthma, I can appreciate that. You're not gonna have allergies and all this.
Oh my
stuff.
God, Indiana so yes, quality of life is and when Governor Holcomb signed his workforce development bills into law, I think that they're good bills, but if you don't address the quality of life issues, it doesn't matter how much you train people or how much money you spend on training people, they're not going to stay.
Well, if you look at and I mean their name just spaced me, but the Infosys I think is what it is.
Just
they're going to open right there at the airport, and I put a post on my Facebook. They talked about the tax incentives and how that was helpful, but it really was IU, IUPUI, Purdue, Ball State, all the local colleges that have these intelligent, young students that want to come and work in the tech industry, and that was one of the main reasons they picked Indianapolis, on top of the tax increase. So trying to attract businesses not just because of tax incentives is a big thing. I think that
because honey, we act like we desperate folk who never had a date. When a company comes in and says, we want to come to it, we give you the world, and I put out on the first night. I mean, it's terrible.
No.
I mean, it's like we'll never be able to fix our little holy roads and clean up our lead pipes if you don't generate some income, Indiana.
Exactly. Giving away tax break after tax break. I mean, the special session, I think we gave $500 million back to companies that we could have at least used a portion of that for our schools, for our roads, for all those different things. So quality of life. Sorry, my teacher.
No, I loved it. I was with you.
Teachers, education. That's a big one. The biggest group that has reached out to me are the teachers in my community.
Okay, and what are they saying to you?
Some sad stuff. We met with a group of teachers about 2 weeks ago, and I asked them, what are your concerns? And safety is a big one. Obviously, especially with what's going on, just recently. And then just the whole dynamic of the students. I think they see the people in office and the way they treat other people, and they're talking about, you know, their Hispanic students are getting teased by the other students saying, hey, you know, they're building a wall, we're going to get you out of here, and things like that. And this is, you know, and the kids don't understand what they're saying, you know, hopefully not.
Because most of them are probably born here anyway.
You know, they're second or third graders saying these things, but they think it's funny because they hear it on the news, or they hear their, you know, somebody else say it, and so that's a big thing, and just kind of trying to really just bring back civility in people's life, and to be compassionate, have empathy for people, and to be able to kind of put yourself in their shoes and understand, you know, what white life's really like. And they see the worst and the best of it as teachers.
As teachers, right.
You know, they have students that come in and maybe haven't had breakfast for that day, or haven't ate since they were in school the day before.
And you can't learn without nutrition. No.
Or, you know, your stomach's hungry, and you're not going to pay attention to class. You're just going to be like, when am I going to eat again? Right. And if you don't know when that's going to be.
And if you can't afford reduced lunches, you're still in trouble.
Exactly. And then, you know, just the general funding of schools. We talked about it a little bit earlier.
So how do you feel about vouchers?
I do not like them. Okay, here's the thing. If you look at the history vouchers, I'm a nerd. I read a lot. I do a lot of things. The history vouchers are based.
Oh, you will be a great. You're gonna bring a new dynamic to the State House. You read a lot.
So history vouchers are based on segregation. The majority of vouchers are. The first major voucher system happened in I think it was a small town in Virginia, right after Brown v. Board of Education.
Oh, so after 1954.
Yeah. There was always vouchers, but this is when it really became popularized, because when the government said you have to integrate your schools, a lot of these white communities said, no, we're going to close our schools down, and then we're going to give you a voucher to go to this private school. So your student, so you're
learn something, y'all.
I'll give you the book name that this is from. So it's been based in that. The privatization of education is the worst thing you could possibly do, because when it comes down to when you privatize something, it puts that profit over people again. Yes,
because they're going to take their money off the top, and then whatever's left is for the students.
And it might have been a noble idea when they first did it in 2013. I don't think it was, but they might have thought in their head. I think from 2013 to now, they've changed the way the vouchers work. And I think half of the voucher students never attended a public school in the first place.
And half of them, the families make over $90,000.
So, you know, to have a student that to supplement, you know, our tax money to supplement a wealthy family's education, it doesn't seem like the right idea.
I want you to say that again. Say it just like that.
Oh, I forgot what I said. We shouldn't have our tax money supplement a wealthy family's education.
We should not have our tax dollars supplementing wealthy families' education. That has been the best snippet. I rail against it all the time, but that's it.
Yeah.
You excuse me, $15 an hour, barely getting an $80,000 home. Excuse me, Mr. Waiter, who's not even making minimum wage. You are now subsidizing wealthy Hoosiers' children's education while your child has their school system taken over. Well, your child doesn't have adequate education. Their teachers are being underpaid. Man, that's it. I'm going to write that down. I'm stealing.
That's fine.
Copyright, Harlan. Okay.
So the teachers, I mean, they feel the pinch. You know, I think it came out last week that they said that, you know, on average a teacher spends $500 out of pocket on supplies. That's not probably including food and different clothes
whatever
and things like
that
they purchase, because most teachers have that. They teach because they're compassionate and they have a big heart.
Absolutely.
So to see a kid struggle, they're not going to let that happen.
No,
they're going to go out.
Especially, and I imagine the hardest would be like a kid that they see that has crazy potential, but they're in a situation that is beyond their control. I mean, I feel like that about my state. So people say, Dana, you're everywhere. Yes, because my state is a needy child right now, and I will sacrifice all that I can to help my needy state. So I feel that. I feel that. I don't know if y'all feel that passion, but I feel that.
I think one thing people have to realize too when it comes to taxes is when you pay taxes, you're paying for your community. So if you want to have doctors, you want to have lawyers, you want to have people that can work a job when you're, you know, I know a lot of people say, well, I don't have any kids anymore, or I don't have kids, so I don't want to pay property taxes to go to a school. Well, you have to live in the community that these people live in. So, you know, if you want crime reduction, let's make sure everybody goes to school and graduates. You want a vibrant community where we have great places to go and cool places to visit. You got to invest in education. It's an investment. It's not a taxes. It's
look,
you know.
People, I've never even been close to being pregnant. Not even remotely like an oops to being pregnant. And I get why we pay public dollars for public education. Because when I get older, because I've never sniffed a baby, other than somebody, I'm gonna need somebody intelligent enough to help take care of me when I get old.
Yeah, exactly.
So can we please educate our kids and take care of our teachers? Okay, third thing.
It's more of a topical issue. It's the DCS, the Department of Child Services.
You are hitting some good ones today.
You know, I think there's other, lingering issues that can be tackled, but I don't think there's anything more prevalent and important than a child's life.
Absolutely.
So, and I think that ties into the opioids epidemic.
Absolutely.
I met with the sheriff in Hendricks County, and that actually ties into mental health as well. He was telling me there's 250 jail cells in Hendricks County, and he said about 220 of them are opioid related that are full. Whether it's from somebody that overdosed and got arrested, or somebody that stole to buy more drugs. But to allow a problem like our DCS to continue and not address it, I don't care what it costs. You put the money into what you need. You read stories where kids are sleeping on floors. They're
in DCS offices.
And talk about a hard job. I mean, a social worker, triple your caseload that they're supposed to be working on and making $30,000 a year. I mean, I understand why they would. I mean,
the turnover's got to be high.
I mean, you're gonna have PTSD from some of the stuff you probably see in some of these kids' homes.
Well, and how about so I'm writing a piece, and I just want to touch on it because I don't want to give it away, but I'm writing a piece where I had a chance to talk to a DCS employee. They're not allowed to talk to media. They're not allowed to share information, but they talk to Indiana's own. And what's even scarier, you have a dedicated employee who is willing to sometimes sacrifice their own homes, right, to care for somebody else's child. And say you have a 17-year-old male, and it's a female who has to then watch out for him. Let's just talk about all the things that could go wrong with it. We're not just talking about babies. We're not just talking about 6-year-olds. But let's talk about all the things that could go wrong with a 17-year-old male and a 30-something-year-old female who's trying to do a good job. She can, and you're talking about folks who, some of these kids who have been in environments where they've had to learn to manipulate. They've had to learn to survive because they don't know how they're going to get their next meal. You don't know what kind of risk you're putting these workers in, or vice versa. This young child could have some serious, mental issues that can hurt himself. I mean, I cannot wait till I write this piece because
I look forward to reading it.
I'm gonna write it, and because I had a great conversation with someone who's been with DCS for longer than a decade, and what you hear, it's not just yes, the things that we're doing in neglecting children is already bad, but then you're asking people who make barely $30,000 to risk their lives. Do you know sometimes if they don't have a place for them in, say they live in Marion County, and the worker works in Marion County, if they don't have a place for a child in Marion County, they may have to drive to Lake County.
Oh my gosh!
I'm telling you, I'm writing this piece, and but yeah, DCS is huge, my man, and the disparity on what we pay foster parents versus these institutions on daily rates is ridiculous.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's hard to pinpoint where the answer is because I think there's a lot of different avenues that can be approached. But I think you got to do something. You can't just let it.
Well, obviously the director was like, "Yo, people are gonna die."
And this is the overall arching thing of my campaign is this isn't something that happened last week. This has been happening for
a long time.
This builds up, and that is what I found in general in our state is we are so reactive to what we do that we'd rather. The phrase I use is we'd rather save a nickel today than spend a dime tomorrow. You know, we're so worried about fiscal policy and balanced budget, and there's so many things on the back end that we end up paying more for.
And it's always from people who are not struggling today. It's the people who are making these decisions are not people who are trying to figure out how they're going to eat tomorrow. Because in many cases, you know, they get a paycheck, and as a beginning rep, you know, they don't make a whole lot of money, so you'll have to get another job. But when you've been there 20 years like your opponent, he's making $50,000-$60,000 as a part-time legislator plus his full-time job that he does when he's not a legislator. People, the folks that are making these financial decisions about how kids are being taken care of are not struggling.
I always said that I have been poor enough to know that I've never been poor.
Wow.
I heard that somewhere. It's not my line, but I heard it somewhere. And it is the best thing. I heard it and I'm like, that is exactly right.
That's it.
Because you get to the point where I always had that safety net. I mean, you know, in law school, I had my electricity turned off, and that was part because I just was too lazy to pay it. I didn't really have the money, but I could have asked for it.
Right.
You know,
pride kicked in a little bit.
Pride kicked in. You know, just being a
young kid.
But
I've slept in my car.
Yeah, I mean,
just because I made poor decisions. You know, not for weeks, months. 2 days was all I needed. You say, this ain't good.
We're all an accident away from being in the worst spot we can be in. Until you are on that level or on that brink of that, you have no idea what's. And I don't have kids. I don't have any responsibilities that are outside of my own.
Yeah.
So to be able to have to decide rent, utilities, a medical bill, or feed my kids. I mean, how are you going to tell somebody what they can and can't?
And why should they even have to? No. And that's the part that I will never understand. Most of these wealthy folk sit around in their beautiful big churches talking about Jesus and God love, and or their mosques or their synagogues, and they sit around and talk about the divine and glorifying, but aren't willing to sacrifice just a little bit to help those less fortunate. I don't get it. I'm glad that you are running, because it sounds to me, sir, that you are someone who does understand that, you know, people matter. Yeah. You touched on healthcare. You know, we didn't get into it too much. We talked about criminal justice reform. Can I just say how important it is to have allies talking about criminal justice reform? Because black folks can scream about it all we want, especially in a state where we're only 9%. But if we don't have people who see it like you see it and can go out and convey that, we're never going to get the reform that we're looking for. I am super excited about your campaign.
Thank you.
I knew your aura was right when I met you. It was really about them dimples. So tell the people where they can find you.
Okay.
Because I want them to donate. I want them to volunteer in your campaign.
That's you know, $5-10 in my campaign would be probably about $100 in other campaigns, just because we are, you know, running a fairly grassroots and bare bones campaign. So anything you could donate. www.harlan HARLAN4FORhouse.com. That's my website.
Harlan for House, I like it.
Harlan Vondersaar on Facebook, you can't miss it. I'm the only one on there. And then Twitter is at harlanforhouse.com. At Harlan for House.
And do you have any fundraisers coming up?
I do. We are doing a picnic, a cookout of my sisters in Pittsburgh.
Okay. I've been to Pittsburgh.
Yeah. So she's opening up in her house. We're going to supply the food and activities. Kids are welcome.
Okay. Make sure you create a Facebook event.
Yeah, we do. It's on my Facebook.
Okay. Excellent.
And then we will buy out in the community a bunch. We have some we're doing some door knocking on Saturday with you know, even though it's a
holiday.
Where
are you meeting? Where are you meeting?
We're going to be at the Brownsburg Library at noon.
Okay, Brownsburg Library at noon
and
for
then
canvassing.
Canvassing, and then
now, do you do any training of your canvassers?
Well, I train. I'm still learning.
Okay.
So I think we're kind of just we're learning together. They print them out.
Okay.
But I'll have a talk what we are doing. It's an interesting experience.
Well, I say that because some people want to help and they've never done it before.
Yeah. Well,
don't worry.
Don't worry.
Have to
Trust
be an
me.
expert.
You don't have to. You just say, hey, I want to help. I want to help, and I want to make my community better.
And I think you will. I think Harlan, you would be an asset to our state house. I believe that you have the ability to get people to see compassion. Some people think about it, hear about it, but I think you can get people to see it and touch it. I think you have the ability to tap into senses and get people to understand the impact and the importance of this social construct that we call America. We want to call it. We want to pretend like we all under one flag. But don't talk about the flag, and if you decide to wear it as booty shorts, go ahead. But don't disrespect the flag. Wear it as a bikini. Go ahead. Hey, listen, Indiana's own Dana Black. You guys, we had Harlan Vondersaar running in the 28th district of our house. You guys find him, support him, find people who speak to your values and speak to your concerns and work for them. You're not going to make change by sitting around talking about it. Only way we can make change is if we elect people who are looking out for our values. Next week, I got a special guest. Oh my God, my groupies, my political groupie spirit is on sky high. Linda Lawson is joining us. Yes, she's retired, but she said she'll come talk to us on Turn Left. Y'all join us again next week. Indiana's own Dana Black, Turn Left, Radio Next, and Office Plex at 2131. Minority owned business. Look it up, y'all. I'll holler next week, y'all.
Thank you.